people looking to start a business or organization today, they have a lot of options, tools, and methodology that they can tap into to create the perfect marketing plan. So let's talk about some of these next. There's so many, so I kind of feel the best way for us to, really encapsulate this and to make it simple is to pillarize them into the paid and the earned, or the organic, as most people know it. There is a simple dance that needs to be choreographed between paid and earned marketing, where utilizing both is optimal, but it's not always viable. So, when someone is looking specifically to scale their business, revenue wise at least, what do you suggest that they do when incorporating paid and earned marketing? Because this is like the number one hot button topic and challenge that my clients come to. And I have a specific way I do this. I want you to share yours because you've always done this right.
Yeah, no, and like you said, there's no right or wrong on this. There's so many sub variables on the type of business. Who's your customer audience? What are you trying to sell? Price point of the product. Like, if you're selling something for less than $10, there's not a lot you can do with paid because it's going to eat up all your margins, right?
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of different things, but on a higher level, I always look at any new business I start. What do I do to validate the revenue potential? And I always start organic, because if you can't convince 100 people that with the pain point that you're trying to solve to give you money, you're not going to convince another 1,000. So I start organic, and even with Schoolio, the first 50 people who purchased from us, we already networked with them through Facebook messaging and looking at blogs and Reddit and things like that. And I was convinced that if these 50 people will buy it, and out of that, people will give us a great testimonial, we can leverage that into the next 100. So organic is really important in the beginning, because you got to know who you're selling to and what input you want to get from it. And then when you're ready to go paid, the number one thing you got to look at is, are you growing a customer base, or are you looking at revenue? And if you're solely looking at it from a revenue perspective, if your product cost and your profit margins are not figured out, you will 100% lose money. If you're only interested in revenue, because paid media is so expensive now.
Yeah.
And it gets more expensive by the day as more people jump onto these platforms.
Yeah.
Right? It's a bidding system at its core, and so you got to be really careful on, like, what is your numbers. And this is where people get scared, because a lot of business folks like, I'm a number smart. Well, no, you should know your product cost, you should know your profit, you should know how much you're willing to spend to get a customer.
Yeah.
If you get the customer, how much do you think they'll spend with you in a year? Right? Lots of acronyms, lifetime value and cost for acquisition and all this stuff. Get past all that silliness. Just come down to, like, keep it simple. Who's my customer? How much will they pay for it? How much can I profit based on what I sell to? And how long will they keep buying from me? If you have those 4 or 5 metrics is mapped out, then you can confidently move into paid. If you don't spend a dime, because you might also donate it and you're burning it.
Right. And this is just beautifully positioned for my next question, which is about data. How should people look at utilizing data for building out marketing strategies, Sathish? Because I still see time and time again, especially among creators, where they create marketing campaigns and put content out there, similar to kind of what you just finished saying, but don't make the connection between marketing and data. So their campaigns, they just simply don't convert. What can you share about the important connection between data and marketing that people have got to understand if they're to scale their business?
Yeah, and I'm going to use a maybe not so well analogy. Okay,
Okay.
If you're out looking for a partner, if you're in the dating scene, okay, you're not going to go out 100 times and meet 100 different partners and then not look at what didn't work. Why didn't he or she call me back? What happened, right? So for me, business is the same thing. At the end of the day, people buy from people. Even if you're a no-name brand, people still will buy from the brand because it said some things about being human and the values. And so the only way to understand what people are going to react to or not react to is by knowing your data. And in today's world, you can literally track everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
for our little company, Schoolio, we track maybe 25 different data points from the website visits, how long you stay there, what do you read, what do you read after you read the first thing, where do you go after you come to us, where did you come from, how many times did you see me before you reacted, what kind of language gets you reacting, what kind of design, what kind of video, what kind of clickbaity things. We're constantly A/B testing because
Mm-hmm.
again, our entire purpose in marketing is to create a relationship out of an anonymous potential buyer.
Yeah.
That's your entire purpose in marketing. Anonymous to known. And then when you know them, then you can start to convert them into sales. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know them, you don't know what they want,
Right.
right? And so, for me, it's all about data, man. And, you could track everything today very affordably, and you kind of have to if you want to play this game because it's a digital touch point world now. Even in our music business, we
Mm-hmm.
can now predict by neighborhood what artists will create traction. Like like the people in politics will reach out to us. I can tell you what music you should play on your ads for each neighborhood to get the best voting results. Like it's crazy. But if you don't pay attention to the data, it's just noise. And most of
Mm-hmm.
us live with noise
Yeah.
because we're looking for that one hero number, checkup size, wallet size. What's the sale? But you can make $100 today and lose 99 in a week, and you won't even know if you're not tracking it.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, what a powerful statement that is. Folks, you heard it right here. A lot of things to think about. You can't ignore, data because data doesn't lie, right? And that's the key here as well. So let me just kind of flip this a little bit for people who, maybe aren't looking at revenue being kind of the big goal with their marketing. When someone is looking to scale audience wise, so their goal isn't revenue maybe from the onset, maybe it isn't at all. What do you recommend that they do when incorporating paid and earned marketing that is perhaps different from the end goal being revenue? Like, would there be a different strategy that you feel that they should be thinking about?
Yeah, and it's actually a lot harder because when you're trying to grow a business with a one-to-one value proposition, you need to teach math. I have a $29 book. Okay, done, right? And if the math is good enough, I have the right to sell you science or language or social studies. But if you're like, hey, we're building a really cool homeschooling community, come join us, it's a much harder sell because now I have to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it free? What do I get in it? How long do I stay in it? And once you invite them to the dance, whether it's 100,000 people or 10, each one of them are equally important. Each
Mm-hmm.
one of them's got a need. And so for me, if you want to scale to a numbers perspective, then there's some proven methodology. Freemium access and trial systems are really big. Getting people into your ecosystem through offers or additional values like join me and you get the 1 hour coaching every week for free and all this stuff. But just building the base without a transactional layer added on top also is a recipe for disaster because
Mm-hmm.
people will eventually disconnect from the best of the communities when another person pops up with a different offer. So
Mm-hmm.
you kind of want to go into, I'm not going to make money today with you, but here's my blueprint for the next 3 to 6 months. If you're just building a base for building the base, it's not sustainable and it's not ownable.
Right. It's not ownable. That's the big one for me right there. So, is there a situation within which scale is the goal, be it revenue or audience, but marketing isn't the best tool?
Yeah, because if the product or service you're bringing to market clearly solves a problem, then you can go right into like nobody spends any money on marketing ketchup. We know what it
Mm-hmm.
is. You don't work hard to sell Heinz ketchup. It is ketchup, right? They go right into sales funnel. And if you're selling during the COVID time, some sort of a rapid testing thing, you don't need a lot of marketing. The product does its job. And so in the absence of brand equity, in the absence of a proven pain point, You need more marketing to tell people your story. But if you're out there and you're solving problem because it is big and noisy, you don't need a lot of marketing. You go right into your funnel because people are aggressively looking for you. You just have to create the collisions.
So then you just brought another thought into my head, Satish. So when you've got something like, we'll just use ketchup, and there's like 50 ketchup companies. Now, even though you don't have to prove your worth, you have to prove your point of differentiation as to why you should be the first choice for them. What would someone do in a case like that?
Yeah, so if you use ketchup, there's history, there's brand equity from being around the longest. Saying I'm, from 1920, we've been using the best tomatoes for the whatever is really important. Uh, Brands that are also, in that kind of headspace tend to bring a lot of the evidence. You know, the ketchup and the fries that went together when you were 12 is what you use when you're 50. We've been with you for such a long time. So this narrative around authenticity and history of a relationship together that the new folks don't have, right? And
Right.
also, when you're solving a real problem real quick, you get to build the marketing after you made the sale. It's from customer service. It's from the follow-ups. It's from the added value. So marketing still happens. You just do it after the transaction because you've got the trust. And for us, if I use Schoolio as an example again, not to keep talking about us, Raj, but the first 400 customers that bought curriculum from me, they have no brand. I'm not a known entity in the education system, but they had a massive problem. We solved it, and then we built the trust. Well, they'll make the second, third, fourth, fifth purchase,
Right.
and that's okay, right? So today we have this really cool vibe where some folks need our marketing message to move them into the funnel. Some folks just buy us because they need it, and then they want to get to know us. In both cases, I still need to have the discipline of having a marketing plan.
Right. Absolutely. So let's ask you this then, based on what you just said there. Your thoughts on how good marketing authenticates a brand in the online marketplace that then translates over to helping the business scale.
100%. It's about building that credibility. Again, at the end of the day, people buy from people. And today, the big trend is brands are acting like humans, right? They're creating the value proposition around humanizing their service, right? And this is where the evolution of the chat bots and the new technologies around immersive web experiences, we're trying to become more human in our brand approach because the market says, I'm not going to buy from you until I trust you. And for me to trust you, I need you to be vulnerable, empathetic. I need you to share common beliefs. So when we are humanized, both as a brand and as a product, marketing has to have a big layer of authenticity and the comfort that you might not be a fit for everybody
Right.
and be okay with finding the right tribe of people. We tried to service the entire market when we first started, and then we realized no, our tribe is the 8 to 10 million families that have already chosen the homeschooling lifestyle way before the pandemic. They're completely isolated out of the system. That's our tribe. The new folks that are reacting to COVID, awesome. We're going to try to help you, but you're not my customer, even though you're 100x bigger market. And that's
Right.
okay for today. That might change a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. But we are conscious that our brand, our version, our tone, our messaging, our 7Ps today align really well with 10 million people. And that's okay for now. And we're good with it.
That's a good market. That's a good market. And I think that you just touched upon something else that we didn't really talk about, and that is being extremely clear about who you serve, right? I mean, what is your niche? I mean, when a person comes across Schoolio, they don't want to know that this is an education, curriculum that they can get online for everyone. They need to know that if you are serious about homeschooling and that is your lifestyle of choice, right? We are the choice for you. right? So I think that's the other thing, right? That's the other thing that people need to also understand. I marketing is one of my favorite topics just because there are so many layers, and so many different circumstances and so many ways to get the sale. Whether that sale is another follower, a fan, a prospective client, a lifestyle client, wherever any of that is. Marketing is just has this beautiful marriage between the tactical foundational stuff and just understanding how to take that and humanize it by using creativity to help you accomplish that. So for those people, Sathish, out there just getting into marketing, what do you feel they need to do to get a good foothold in today's marketing overload culture? Because so much marketing isn't good marketing. Just because it's out there doesn't mean it's working. So, what can we share with people who, especially after this conversation with you, understand that, oh my God, I got to get my marketing game together?
Yeah, my number one thing always is don't do it yourself. You can't until you've done enough to know what to do and what not to do. Seek help. This is not to tell people that you got to go get a coach and all this stuff. There's tons of stuff on YouTube, Udemy, Skillshare, Fiverr. Like there's places where you can go get the help,
Yeah,
or reach out to folks that are currently doing it. There's nothing wrong with reaching out to people that are already in the business a few years ahead of you,
yeah,
and have a discussion on what they're doing. Because again, just because we're both selling ketchup doesn't mean we're going after the same customer.
right.
And so I spend a lot of time looking for experts in areas that I don't know. Like I'm really good at marketing, but I've never done education. So I spent all of April and May connecting with marketers in education, in e-learning and curriculum development in the US and abroad and India and Asia, to learn what do they think about when they think about talking about curriculum. And I realized in all my research that none of them actually talk about the curriculum. We talk about the
Wow.
values of having a stress-free curriculum environment. We talk about the impact of the ability to learn on your own, but nobody goes out there talking about, I got math, I have language. I wouldn't have known that. I would have been out there saying, I got math, I have language, right?
Right.
So I think, the easiest cost-effective way to build momentum is to bring on some folks that have done it in the past, and learn on the job, man, because so much of this stuff is about being creative and A/B testing and paying attention. But you can't do that if you don't know what to look for. Right? Same thing with the data point I told you about. I didn't come
Yep.
up with any of this stuff. I hired some really smart people and said, hey, tell me all the data points I should care about.
Yeah.
And then I chose the ones that I really cared about, and then we implemented it. Now it's part of my DNA moving forward in every new company. And so I think reaching out and connecting with people is really number one. Number two, back to the original conversation, be really clear on why you're doing this. The 4 a.m. stress is not going to go away, but you need to know why you're doing it. When a customer gives you a negative feedback and you want to turn them into a positive, you need to know what you did that created that negative reaction to convert it into positive. So
Right.
all of this stuff about clarity is super, super important. And then three, it's about being brave enough to test. None of us are perfect, and the entire thing that I love about marketing, which I think you love about, is it's an opportunity to be creative. We're in the
Yes.
business of human chess, not to
Yes.
win, not to ultimately win, but to create the largest pool of people that globally believe in your product or service. And today it is a global economy, man. You could have a company in Canada with zero clients in Canada, and that's
Right.
okay, right? Because your tribe is built out of a different ecosystem. And so I think it's those are the top three that for me create the baseline, anyways, when I look at new opportunities.
Absolutely. So, what are marketing must have tools you feel every business needs to have in place today to set them up to scale, specifically to set them up to scale?
Yeah, number one, automation. Doing stuff manually in the beginning is important, but if you're not using a Hootsuite, if you're not using a Canva integrated, if you're not using a HubSpot, if you're not using Mailchimp, if you're not tied into your QuickBooks for automatic invoicing. Today, the businesses I invested in love, at least 75% of the day-to-day is automated. And we try to strive for that 80% automation, because then 80% of the time we're not working in the business, we're thinking about the business,
Right.
right? And it's a shift that consciously has to happen. If not, the easiest thing to do is just be in the business. Oh, it's just three more posts, I can just do it today, it's not a big deal. No, because by the time you think about it, do it, post it, share it, log off, you've lost 2 hours times 365 days, right? And so I say focus on automation, 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 and in every step of your 7Ps, your business interaction, your data, your ad buying. There's all sorts of tools today where, in my opinion, if you're not automating at least 70 to 80% of your day-to-day business, you're never going to scale.
Wow. That is a great, great, invaluable tip right there, folks. Actually, the entire conversation has been incredibly valuable, especially for those of you who are entering kind of the world of, wanting to be an entrepreneur, or perhaps you want to kind of figure out why certain aspects of your strategies aren't working. I want you to go back to the beginning of this conversation, and I want you to really, really listen to it. I want you to also think about the people that are in your life, whether it be personal, whether it be professional, that you feel need to hear this conversation, and you got to send them the link to this. You guys already know that it's up on YouTube at the openchestconfidenceacademy.com. You know that wherever podcast stations are, you just need to search for the Transform Your Confidence show. The reason I do this show, guys, those of you who tune in all the time, is because I just want to be able to fill that gap between those who absolutely have no idea what they're doing or what they should be doing, to the people that are really fully committed to take their business to the next level. So, I come to you twice a week, once on Sundays, once on Wednesdays, 9 a.m., and also 12 p.m. So I just want to make sure that you guys really kind of understand how important and why that these conversations are valuable. I am so super happy that Sathish came on the show, but I'm not done with him yet, guys. I got couple questions that I want to kind of close out with Sathish, and I can talk to you forever. Because
Guys,
we talk the same language. That's why I love speaking with you, and you always have insights and ways of sharing things that are very different from the way I do, and I love learning from you. So I want to ask you this question. So is there anything that you feel that I haven't touched upon where marketing is concerned to help people scale their business? Anything at all that you feel that you want to add?
yeah, I think you hit on it, but I just want to reiterate, uh, the marketing plan is not the same as a sales plan. They're
Right.
completely different. People always confuse the two to go, oh, my sales are not going well. I'm like, what's your marketing plan? What's your sales plan? And they don't have a differentiator. So just to sort of, establish that point, your marketing is all about why they should buy something from you. It doesn't mean they're going to buy from you. All it says is, here's why you should consider me. That little voice, need, want, need, want, need, want. If you stay in a want perspective, maybe they'll get you, maybe they won't. Your sales strategy moves them into the want. And it's two completely different framework, and it has to be respected for what it is, because they operate completely differently. And I meet so many companies where their marketing plan is their sales plan, and
Yeah.
there's no sales, or their sales strategy doesn't have a marketing plan, so they have no sales. And so know that it's different, and have a priority of working on both, and know that sales strategy will continue to change. What we sell in the summer at Schoolio is different than what we sell September 1st. But who we are as a marketing company is always the same, right? So know the difference is really important for me.
Absolutely. I love everything about what you just said. As we close out, for anyone out there who believes that they don't need a marketing plan or a sales plan or any of what we've been talking about to scale their business, can you just tell them what they need to know?
If they don't think they need a marketing plan,
Yeah, yeah. If
well,
they think they can scale their business without marketing strategy, without sales strategy, what would you say to those people?
good luck. You're part of the other statistics that we reference in PowerPoints. You know, the businesses that could have happened but didn't. And shame on you. Like, when I look at business owners and I look at them, go, man, you put so much on the line. You sacrifice your money, your family, your time. There's an idea that the world could potentially really benefit from, and all of that positivity didn't happen because you were too lazy or not focused to create a marketing plan or a sales plan, even if it's a one pager.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a no brainer. And what did the world miss out on? What did your
Right.
life miss out on because you didn't have the discipline to get two pieces of paper and label it marketing plan, sales plan, and try something out and just hope for the best? And I think there's another quote, I can't remember who wrote it, but hope is not a strategy in business. Hope is not a strategy in business. It's marketing plan, a sales plan, a customer success plan, and a you self growth plan. You put
Mm-hmm.
those little box together, you have a chance to build a dream life. But the four are really important, and if you don't want to focus on it, that's cool. We need the other stories to talk about too. The could have, the would have.
Absolutely. For anyone out there who would like to reach out to you for mentorship, counseling, how can they get a hold of you, Satish?
I do a really good marketing job of like being visible. So just
You
typing
do.
in Sathish Bala into Google. I'm big on LinkedIn, Instagram. I mean, if you know Raj, you can always reach out to her. But I make it a point to make it visible. And now, but design, it wasn't my accident where I decided in my 20s that by the time I get into my 40s, I want to be accessible. I want to go from chasing opportunities to attracting opportunities. And for that
Mm-hmm.
to happen, I needed to spend 2 decades building the right brand for myself, building the right marketing plan around me and my companies, to a point where now it's nice to be able to help people and look at opportunities coming to me. But it was an accident. It was, as it was 20 years of pen and paper and adjusting and working really hard. So, and look, I don't have a business background. I'm a computer scientist that learned everything I'm sharing on the job. So
Mm-hmm.
all of your excuses of I'm not a business person, I'm not a salesperson, I'm not a marketer, it's all just words. You can replace them with more empowering words and go build a great company.
Here, here. Thank you so much for joining us for this really valuable deep dive, Satish. Oh my God, you know that you got to come back on because there's so many things that you are good at, that I just want to be able to kind of garner some wisdom from you for the audience here who are watching, listening, or even reading the blog. Thank you so, so much,
My pleasure,
Satish.
man. I love our conversation. It just flows, and it's nice to be able to share. And anytime you need me, you give me a call. Put that Raj bat signal out. I'm coming. We're good.
I love it. You know I'm hitting you up on that one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and Satish today, folks. I really hope that you got some valuable insights on our discussion, and that you really understand the importance of being intentional with your marketing strategy, and also understanding, like Satish said, marketing strategy, sales strategy, and he also added a third one, which is customer retention strategy and growth strategy are all sound like they're similar, but they're not. They are very, very distinctly different yet connected entities. So if you want to know more about how to do that, or at least optimize what you already have, or maybe want someone to take a look at what you've got and maybe just kind of take a look at how it can be done better, hit up Satish. Just go search Sathish Bala, and he is very, very active. You will find him out there in the entire online ecosystem. For more trainings like this, I've already said it, but I'm going to say it again to close us out. Go to YouTube at the Open Chest Confidence Academy. You can also go to any podcast platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, and search the Transform Your Confidence Show. Also, go to my website and check out the newsletter. We do a free weekly newsletter where all of these trainings are there, but I also do a mini article where I talk about some sort of perspective that I feel, is something that could be valuable to you on your journey of professional development. Because that's my area, guys. Professional development is what's important to me, and it's what I'm always on that journey of myself. So I know all of the things that are going to happen along that journey for you, whether it be psychological, whether it be a lack of knowledge, whether it is just the motivation that's lacking to action and to be accountable for those actions. All of these things are what make for a professional journey to be successful. Like Sathish has been talking about throughout the entire conversation that we've had, if you are not willing to do the work, look at the data out there and be honest about what it is that you're in fact trying to do here, right? And it has to be something that's providing value to someone outside of your own ecosystem. That's where you need to go here. So I want you guys to sit with that, and I look forward to the next time you and I chat again, Sathish. And until then, just keep rocking and rolling and being the fabulous person that you are, because I love everything that you do, and you know that, and I'm happy
Thank
that you
you,
were on the
man.
show.
No, I appreciate it. It's always fun to come and share, and yeah, reach out, folks, and that this is us to pay back and support and and share. So I'm accessible. I look forward to coming back and chatting again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Satish.